So the goal of hero intelligence education is to take all those complicated subjects and break them down so it's super easy, bite size for parents to start to rewire the pathways, wire the brain, and how they're speaking to themselves first. Because how you speak to yourself, your own self-talk, then how you speak to your children. So this is where we need to interrupt that wiring system, and we need to hit the pause button, pause, ponder, and create a new plan and a new pathway to helping children become their best self. But before we can do that, it starts with us, the teachers, the parents, the educators, the mentors. And we have to ask ourselves, what voice am I listening to? And, right, how am I going to interrupt that pattern?
So see the teacher in you right now. I want to be in your classroom.
Well, I have a tool. So can I share something really fun with you? Because I have a lot of toys to share, because I like to teach. Adults like to learn with visuals too, right? Put your hand up if you like a visual, right? If you like something, a tool to manipulate. So what I have here, I'm going to share with you guys, is I have a little container, and I say we have 3 voices inside of us, okay? So right here, I'm using the primary colors. So we have a little villain voice that will, bully us and put us down and want revenge and, get really reactive, right? That kind of angry voice inside of us is the red voice. Then we have this little blue voice, and that's a little sad voice inside of us that feels helpless and hopeless and, feels sorry for ourselves when things happen to us. But there's a third voice. There's that hero voice inside of us, but we often don't use it as a default, because what happens, Brittany, we end up, using the default of hearing all the social media. We hear compare, contrast, we hear, we compare ourselves to others and we're in competition. So it goes between this victim villain voice, victim villain voice, victim villain voice. And we hear that becomes our voice inside our head, what parents say, what teachers say, what the kids on the playground are saying, what social media says. And it goes from this. It's the easiest voices to access. But how do we access our inner hero? We got to get quiet. For that one, I say we meditate, right? So I have in my classroom, I teach children how to get still, right? And go deep, deep, deep down, like little tranquil turtle, go down into the ocean and access our star power. And that's a voice that takes practice. That's a voice that takes discipline to find our courageous voice, to find our confident voice. And so what happens is when we get still and get quiet and we turn out all that noise, that news, what happens? There's the hero voice right there. I'm like magic over here. So, here's what happens. What voice do we want leading our life? Do we want our little sad victim voice who feels helpless and they don't know what to do? Do we want our angry reactive voice to lead our life? Or do we want our hero voice who doesn't see problems, who sees possibilities, who doesn't see what's wrong in the world, who sees what's right in the world? So we want to not bury these voices, but we don't want them leading our life, right? Because they're here for us to compare, to have contrast. Because when we're leading with our inner hero, we feel, I like to say to the kids, light like a feather. But when we're leading with our victim and villain, we feel heavy like the rock. So now it's like discernment. Does this feel light? Do I feel hopeful? Or does this feel heavy? Do I feel helpless? Right? So these are tools that we need to start giving to children really early on so they can start navigating their life and making better choices for themselves.
Do you ever say to your kids, what voice are you choosing right now, and really get them activated that every aspect of ourselves that we call forth is a choice?
Absolutely, because we got the 3-finger formula. Can you hold up your 3 fingers? So it makes it super easy to remember, right? So what we think about, so thoughts plus our feelings equals actions. So how we're thinking this, right? Our hero is always seeking a solution. So then what feeling does the hero have? Courage, faith, joy, strength, confidence. right? But if we're, and then our actions follow that, right? So then we're looking for the solution. But if we're in our angry voice, right, our victim or villain voice, how are we feeling? We're feeling angry, we're feeling resentful, right? And then that creates the action. So now you are looking for revenge. And we know that where that leads to, right? A spiraling down the rabbit hole. If we show up with our little victim voice, and here's an example, I got really sick with diabetes. So I could have easily taken this victim voice and poor me feeling helpless, but I didn't. Because I had trained my brain, I was already, when that diagnosis happened, I was like, okay, how is this happening for me? And how is this going to help me change my life? Because I'm going to learn everything I need to learn to reverse this. And I'm going to step in to my powerful hero. And at that point, I was sick, overweight. I was unhappy in my life. And that diabetes became the catalyst that got me to want to become the hero intelligence teacher. And what does a hero look like, sound like, feel like? They have a growth mindset. They think positively. They have a beautiful heart, right? They're passionate. They give back to the world, and they have a healthy gut. We have 3 super brains: our head brain, our heart brain, and our gut brain, so we can become the best that we can be. So I took on that hero identity. And 20 years later, I'm rocking it. So, this is the whole point, is that had I taken on that victim voice, where would I be 20 years later? I would have felt helpless. I would have put all the ownership on everybody else, and I wouldn't have taken accountability. If I got myself here, I can also get myself out.